Alrighty, everybody. I hope you can hear me. Bear with me here just a second. It looks like my headset got unplugged. Give me just one moment while I connect. Good to go. I'm going to do that countdown one more time because now we're... And there I am. Alrighty, everybody. Sorry about that. I was having a little bit of an internet connectivity issue, so I moved all the equipment out into my workspace out here in the big room at Bead Shop. So sorry, I was a little bit late jumping on for this Gemstone flash sale, you guys. Happy Friday. We made it. So cheers to you. Thank you so much for joining me on this Friday. Well, just to let you know what we're going to be doing today. So we've got Geeta over on our Facebook page doing some moderating from over there. Janice should be jumping on from the East Coast. She's doing some stuff this morning, so hopefully she'll be jumping on in a little bit. But we're all good. I wanted to let you know. So the deal with these gemstone sales is I go to the gem show and I do some shopping, right? And usually for the website for Bead Shop, we need a large amount of product, right? Because everyone wants it. But a lot of times with this, with like really fine beads, semi-precious beads or whatever like that, there isn't like enough for us to put them on the website permanently. So I love them so much that I get a small amount and we just do a flash sale. Drea and Claire work their magic, get them photographed, get them up, turn them around quick. And then Drea has her finger on the go live button right when we're going to go live with the sale at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. Right now, if you're watching me live, it is Friday, September 24th. A big happy birthday to my sister-in-law, Tammy. And it's 10:36 a.m., so in a little less than an hour here on the West Coast. So I'm going to show you what it is I bought, and I'll show you also, so you're not going to bid or anything like that or buy them here live with me. What you're going to do is I'm going to end the broadcast a little bit early, then you can jump right over to Bead Shop, and what you'll see on Bead Shop is you'll see a banner that looks like this. Okay, looks like this right here. And it says, right now it says Flash Sale Friday starts, strands go live 9/24/21 at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. That is probably going to change out, and you just click right on that and you'll be able to go right to the flash sale. I also noted that Geeta threw in the link to the stones. Geeta, if you don't mind, oh, here we go. I see it right here. You can see it's the flash sale that she put up there. Beadshop.com/collections /flash hyphen sale hyphen Friday. So, Geeta, if you wouldn't mind, if you would indulge me to toss that over to the Facebook feed as well, that would be great. Other than that, because I think Janice has been a little bit detained. But if you go right to the website, it's going to look like this. You'll also see them in Just In as well. Okay, so you should be able to find them. Let me see if I can get this banner off the screen there. Okay, so I'm going to show you YouTube, and you already did. Thank you, Geeta. I don't know. I'm trying to jump in, and so let me not micromanage you. Perfect. Thank you, Geeta, so much. I don't know what we would do without all of you all, I'll tell you. So let me show you, let me add to the camera, and hopefully I've got everything set because I rushed over here and reset it up. So let me add my camera here right to the stream. There we go. And I've got the strands. I'm going to go over the strands individually, okay, just real quick, and then I'll show you how they look all together. So when I was shopping, and believe me, you know me, I like to shop for sure. So when I was shopping for this specific flash sale, I I did it a little bit differently this time. I shopped so that if you wanted to use these together, they would create a collection. Okay. And so I think you guys are really gonna love them. I really love them. I think they're gorgeous. And I wheeled and dealed, and I got some really good prices that we passed on to you guys. So I'm pretty proud of myself there. But I have eight. Let's see, two, four, six, eight different strands. So I want to show you guys what wire fits through these and what thread fits through these. Okay, and then we'll go over them kind of in a grouping so you guys can see them, and then I'll have them out for you guys to look at in the big groups. Okay, so let me start with, I'm going to kind of put these in size order. And these strands are about 12 to 13, maybe even a little bit more inches. So that's the length. And it says on each strand in the description, but I'll go over it here so you guys know. These Labradorite that I have here, this is a cut that I've actually never seen before, and I've been doing this for a long time. This cut, it's an oval. It's a really nice checkerboard faceted oval. And you can see that the holes, you can see how this is pre-strung on just these strands, these holding strands, that the hole goes through the center of the bead, which I really, really like. And you can see, it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but even in real life, the flash or the chatoyance is what it's known as on these labradorite are simply divine. So I'm going to kind of put these in a size order for you. And I think, and I'll show you kind of what I'm going to do with these. I know that you're not going to be surprised that I'm just going to kind of string them up, but I think that they'll look really nice kind of strung up the way I'm going to put them together. So here they are in size order. Okay, so there they are here. So let me show you what I've got, and let's start down here at the bottom. These guys are that hematite. They're hematite. They're a matte gold coated hematite, kind of like we have with those soft-sided cubes, those hematite cubes that we carry. But this one, it's kind of hard to see. So I want to show you how this looks. Let's see if I can focus this strand. It's hard to see, but the cube has 12 little facets. So it has a center facet here, and then it has facets up at the top and at the bottom. So I just love these little guys. And the hole is nice and big. It's a little charmer of a bead right here, and it's a really great spacer. Okay, so they look metal, but they're not. They're that hematite. Then the next, let me measure it for you. Let me zero out with my caliper here. Let me get this where I need it to be here. And let me close this up. It is 2.7 millimeters from hole to hole. And it's really, it's a cube, about a cube. It's about the same on both sides, okay? So Let me get my wire. And a 22 gauge wire fits through this hole. Okay, so you can use 22 and smaller. I also have some Ceylon here for you to look at. And the Ceylon, what I would use on all of these is if I were stringing these on Ceylon, I would use the micro and I'd use it doubled. So here's my micro. Here it is going through that collapsible eye needle right here. And then you can string it on. I said you can string it on, and you can see how that just pulls right over the little eye of the needle, and it's just fine on the cord. Okay, so that's that. So let's look here, and our next one, our next little friend, is an ombre strand of Aventurine. And look at how the Aventurine goes from light to dark, right? It's an ombre strand. And the size is, I need to cut this strand because I've got a knot at the end so they wouldn't come off. Here's my little bead. I'm going to go hole to hole here. And it's about 2.6 millimeter, and it's round, right? It's not like a rondelle. And let's check the wire size. The 22 gauge wire is a little too big for this. So let me go down to the 24 gauge. And 24 gauge fits fine. Okay. And I do believe that it will string on doubled strand of micro Ceylon, not the fine, but the micro. Let me tie a little knot here on the end so they don't end up on the floor. Each one of these little precious ones. Okay, so there are those two on the double strand and the micro. Okay, so the micro, let me show you the difference. Amy is asking about the fine versus the micro. You can see here in my right hand, and it's hard to see on the camera, but let me see if I can isolate it. You can see it looks a little bit heavier. Let me see if I can measure it with my millimeter gauge. Millimeter gauge isn't the best with thread, but that's the fine. And here's the micro, if I can find the end. Do you have this happen to you? Come on. End, really? I just took a piece off of this. Let me see if I can find the tail. There it is. Let me see. That's a little smaller. You can see it's about a 0.2 millimeter. So if you have a digital caliper like this, give it a measure. Don't smash it, right? But just hug the caliper around the thread. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Okay. And the Vivi is saying that she read that hematite doesn't tarnish. Yeah, it doesn't because it's stone. It's not metal. So I don't have an issue with it tarnishing at all. This is coated, but I haven't had an issue with the coated hematite tarnishing either. So these two strands that are next up, these are Moonstone. And the Moonstone, we've got that dark gray Moonstone and then the regular white Moonstone. And you can see that, that they have this kind of crazy brilliance to them. This is a coating that they've started to put on beads in the last few years, and it's called a mystic coating. And the mystic coating is actually a fine, kind of like an overlay of metal that they fume onto the beads. Okay, and so it's a permanent coating on the beads. It doesn't come off, but it does add a lot of shine and sparkle. I like my stones natural and unenhanced, I guess, for the most part. Sometimes they have to color enhance them a little bit, but all of these stones here that are in front of you are natural color. This coating, however, that's on this moonstone is a metal coating. And on these moonstone, I actually really like it, and I think it really adds to the stone itself. So I I picked up what they were putting down with these. Okay, they fit on the 24 gauge wire, and I believe they are also about 2.5 millimeters. They're small but mighty. Actually, they're a little bit bigger. They're about 3 millimeters, right? Jess is saying that she's seen this mystic coating a lot at the last Tucson show. It was really everywhere. Yeah, I have too. I've seen it for the last couple of years, actually. They're coating a lot of, I don't want to say lesser stones, but maybe stones that aren't as high quality, so it gives them a little extra oomph. Again, I'm not big on stones that have been enhanced, but that's just me. Sometimes you have to, because you just need that color or whatever. And enhancing stones has come a long, long way. So maybe I'm a little bit snobby about that. But if the gemstone works, and it works for what you're using, then use it. You can see it also fits nicely on this doubled strand of micro. Okay, so that's these two guys, the Moonstone. Now this is a very special strand. This is Pyrite. It's a dark kind of chocolate colored Pyrite, not enhanced, just faceted, colored really beautifully, and it's a rondelle. And you can see this rondelle is about 3.5 meters. And these are all natural stones, right? So the size is going to vary a little bit. But this particular one here from hole to hole is about 3.4 millimeters by about 4.2 millimeters. Okay. My guess is it's going to fit. Well, the hole is actually pretty big. They can cut the holes in Pyrite pretty big. It does fit on the 22 gauge. They can cut the holes pretty big in Pyrite because it's a pretty tough stone. So it'll work out really well. Okay. Hi, thank you. We just got a delivery, everybody. Delivery's in the house. Very exciting. And then let's see how it fits on this micro. It'll fit just fine. And I think it would fit on a doubled strand of fine Ceylon as well, because there's plenty of room in there. So if you're using this for the poetry project and you want to use fine instead of micro, this would work out beautifully. Okay, so we'll leave this one on. This is a special strand here. Well, they're all special, but this, I couldn't help it. This is blue zircon, and blue zircon is spendy, right? And the quality on the price on this blue zircon strand, and all the prices will be listed on the website. And I'm sorry I don't have the prices here. I just don't. I don't want to misquote them, so they'll all be on the web. And I did my very, very best to bring you some prices that were very, very good. This blue zircon isn't like AAA quality, but you guys, it's really beautiful. And you can see how it ombres from almost clear white all the way down to a dark blue. And this, I think, would be beautifully used as, like, if you string them in that ombre, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, kind of like 6 or so sections of this ombre. So you could string all 6 of those into like a tassel. They'd be great. You can just string them like that, like a long earring. That would be great. And they fit, I think they fit on a 24 gauge. Yep, they do. So the holes are nice. The rondelles, they're rondelles. They're a little irregular. You know, they're not all perfect. Some are a little bit fatter, you can see. Some are a little bit thinner. You can see some like on this strand, like this one right here. Where did they go? Right here. That one's like really thin. But when they're all strung together, you're not really going to notice. You're going to look at the big picture, right? So, and they should fit just fine on this thread. And you can see the ones that are light are a very, very, just a hint of blue. And then they go down to the darker ones here. Okay, so like this. Okay, and I think there's 6 repeats. Let me do this while it's flat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then there's some over here. Let me count maybe from this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and some clear. You could get 6 repeats, especially if you took a few of the darker ones out, because it looks like it starts and ends with the light strand. So you can get 5 to 6 repeats out of these. Okay. All right, so that's the blue zircon, and it fits just fine on this. Okay. Next, Chrysoprase, one of my very favorite stones in the whole wide world. Oh, and I didn't measure this for you. Let me measure, and then this one's kind of a fatty. So from hole to hole, it's 2.5 millimeters. From side to side, it's 4.5 millimeters, right? Some are a little bit bigger, some are a little bit shorter. These strands all run 12 to 13 inches, with the exception of this Labradorite, which is 10 inches right here. Okay, so this Chrysoprase has, again, it has a color gradation to it, and you can see there are some really super dark stones, some really super light stones. There are inclusions in them, but the quality is pretty nice. I mean, Chrysoprase has inclusions anyway, and they're kind of a rough cut rondelle. The holes, one of the things I do when I buy beads like this, beads that are going to be a little bit spendier, right? Because they're, unenhanced natural stones. So they're a little pricier. One of the things that I do, and if you're, if you shop your gem shows or whatever, it's a good tip to remember, is that I start like this, and I kind of go to the middle of the strand and I pull it up and I start looking at the holes of the piece, of the beads, okay? And I just look and I make sure that there isn't a lot of chipping around the holes, okay? Because if the bead strand is fairly inexpensive, obviously the quality of the stone might not be as nice, and you might have chipping around the hole. So that's one of the things that I look at when I go bead shopping. So all of these have really clean, good, non-thread cutting holes. And that's kind of a good tip for you guys too, if you, shop in bulk sometimes at bead shows and stuff like that. So this, rondelle, the Chrysoprase, 3.7, this particular one from hole to hole. And then side to side, I've got, this one's a little chunkier. This is like 5.1, but again, they vary, okay? And let's see what wire size they go on. Let's see if it goes on the 22 gauge. The holes are pretty good on these. They go, but you don't want to force it. So I will say 24 gauge is what these work on. Let's see if I can get in there. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, and they go on that double strand of micro. Okay, right here. Now, the pièce de résistance. You guys, these are so good. They're the checkerboard labradorite ovals The size will vary. Some are large, some are small. That's just how they are. They're cut, they're naturally cut. I bought every single strand. My vendor got them. He said, Kate, I said, hello. He said, I'm getting something out from under the table. And he got these. And I've never seen them before. I love them. Some of the Labradorite will have a little bit of an inclusion in it, right? A little bit here. But if they do, just kind of, I, again, like an inclusion on the stone. Some will be a little bit lighter, some will be a little bit darker, but here's one that I pulled off the edge of the strand here. So let me measure this for you. And some will be a little bit thicker and some will be a little bit thinner. So let me pull a couple off. And again, you can see that hole runs down the center of this, and you'll have some color variation in these two. Okay. So again, this is like a checkerboard cut. So this one that was on the end, hole to hole, this one measures a little over 10 millimeter. From the top to the bottom of the oval, where we'd usually see the hole, it's about 13 millimeter. Thickness, 4.5 millimeters on this one. Thickness on this one's a little fatty. This one is like 6.5 millimeters. So they're gonna vary, right? One of the things, let's see if 24 gauge or if 22 gauge, sorry, 22 gauge is this one. Let's see if 22 gauge fits in it. It does. The holes are nice and big, very clean. So the 22 gauge fits. Okay. So one of the things though, let me show you this 24 gauge wire. I'm going to cut a piece of it here just real quick. These would work really well if you wanted to wire wrap them like a briolette. So you know how I'm just going to do this real quick. We have skill builders on how to wire wrap briolettes, but I thought that these might look interesting here, right? I get my wire around. I'm not going to go over the briolette wrap step by step. We've got that right on beadshop.com. If you go to our skill builders, you'll see that we have that skill builder right on there for you. I'm going to grab my round nose plier, bring that up and over, bring it down and underneath, hold that flat, adjust my wire so it sits correctly. There we go. I'm at my workbench, so I'm using some of my personal tools. This is that 90-degree Zircon bent chain nose that I really love. Maybe we should add it in. I love this tool. See how nice that bend? I've had this one forever. It's a nice one. To cut the wire off, I need to get it a little closer to my line of sight, so bear with me here while I cut that. And you can see how that wire wrap, how it gives it some nice wire wrapping around the edges. So it's really cool. So you could do that, or you could, you know, string it through or whatever. So, and Janice Gita is over on Facebook, so don't you worry, she's there. Okay. So, so that's the story. That's my story there. And let's make sure that it fits on this doubled strand. Okay, and it does. And look at how nice that looks when strung, when it goes there down the center. Okay. You could also, if you wanted to string these on silk, I would use the number 2 for all of these small ones here. I'd use a number 4 for these guys here. Okay, so the size 2 silk for these ones here, and the number 4 for this large labradorite, the chrysoprase, and that hematite. Everything else here, these small guys, the number 2 is the right one. Okay. So let me I've got all of the strands together. So I think you guys will, whoops, I took myself out of the studio. Hang on one second. Let me see. when I moved my camera. Hang on. Bear with me here just a second. Let me fix this. Turn it back around. There we go. And add it back into the stream. There we go. Let me click that over. What did I do? People are saying I'm not subtle. What am I? What was I doing? I don't know. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to get back to this in just a second, but let me get the piles of beads because I think they're really pretty, and then you'll be able to see all of the beads together, which I think will be kind of exciting. They make a nice visual impact, and then I'm going to show you how I would string these guys up just real quick, and then we will get this show on the road. So here are these. Let me pull these up. Right? Look at that eye candy. Isn't it good? And you can see, or maybe you can't see, I use cafeteria trays for my projects. So that's what this is. I get these trays. I love our deep dish trays for projects, but sometimes if I have to haul my projects around or stuff like that, I get these cafeteria trays, these plastic cafeteria trays that I love. Okay, so here they are. That's these guys from the Aventurine, the Blue Zircon, the Chrysoprase, and the two Moonstones, the light and the dark with that mystic coating. Right? It's good. And if you look at these all together, you can see that colorway, they all work together, right? And you don't have to have any plans for these at all. But you get lots of beads. If you get one strand of each, you have plenty of beads to do something with. Let me get the other ones here. Can you tell I'm very pleased with myself with these selections? I just love them. Here comes the Labradorite, and you'll be able to see the variation in size, right? Here's the Labradorite here, and then we've got that Pyrite here, and then the Hematite, the gold matte Hematite right here. So that's it. And these guys, again, these are 10 inches long. You get about 19 beads to a strand on here, but you can see some are a little bit larger, some are a little bit smaller, but they're all delish. Okay, so I think one of the things that, so I thought about this. I thought about, well, if I was going to make something with these guys, how would I want to put these together? So let me get my little tray back. Where did I put them? I just had my tray here a second ago. Right? I put it aside. I went and I grabbed these. Hang on. Really? Here's my hands. I walked off to, oh, there it is. Gosh, if it would have been a snake, like my grandma would say, honey, if that would have been a snake, it would have bit you. There it is. Okay, here's my stuff. All right, so what I did was, and we're gonna go live in with the sale at 11:30. Right now it's 11:07 Pacific time, so we've got a few moments, and so I just wanted to share this here with you. So I thought about how I might want to put these together, and when you saw when I laid all of these strands out, right, what a visual impact kind of the color gradations and everything work together so nicely. So I'm going to use a doubled strand of that micro. This might be antique brown. I'm not really even sure what color this is, honestly. Get a color you like. And I'm going to measure out, let's see, that's a yard. This is 2 yards. This is 3, a little shy of 3 yards. It's a lot of thread, right? And I'm going to double it over. Okay, double, double, double. Now you do, you know, if I was really tempted to get all of these strands and just take them off the strand and dump them in a bowl, right? But part of, I think, what's so appealing, like I said earlier, was that these look so interesting, like laid out like this, right? So usually I string things kind of randomly, but I think for this particular idea I have in mind, I'm going to string them in color blocks. Okay, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to use my wire needle here, put one end through. There we go. And I'm not going to worry too much about the clasp I'm going to add. I think what I'm going to do, pardon me, is add a button. You could use this on Softflex too, right? I've done these long pieces on Softflex. The .014 Softflex will work really nicely, right? Like this. So like this here. And then I could like macrame this button on or something. This is our small little, Janice, I know you'll know this, or Gita, you can link it. Little vine, I think this is, right? I think. So, and Diane, the prices on these are just jump over when the sale starts. I think you can use your, we've got a 10% coupon going on right now. I think it's School 10 that you can apply, or if you have VIB points, you can also use your points as well. So, so I think you might be pleasantly surprised there. I'm going to leave myself a little bit of room here at the end. And I'm just going to tie a knot at the end. I can always untie this knot or something later, but I'm going to do that. I just want to start stringing. Okay, so I'm just going to come in and I'm going to start, and I'm going to take a grouping of these between my fingers. I don't even know how many. This feels right. Between my fingers. And I'm going to run that needle up those beads. Now, what I could do as I bring them all the way down this ridiculously long piece of thread, I can always add thread, but I just cut a long piece. We have a lot of different purl knotting videos that you can play around with. If they were on Softflex, I could just string them like this, but since they are on Ceylon, I could also just tie knots. We've got our purl knotting tutorials all over beadshop.com, so I won't go into it now, but I'll just knot a couple of these so you can see how these might look knotted. Some of them I might not, and then maybe others that are on here I might just string in a block. So see how those knots are looking? They look like little beads. You can do the same effect with size 11 seed beads, right? I've been knotting forever, so I do this hand knotting method a lot that I learned from Janice. You can find it on our old school. Mine's a little bit of a modification, but you can find it on our archive projects or our bead shop projects. You can download the purl knotting handout. You can also watch many different broadcasts that we have on the purl knotting. You can certainly use your knotting tweezers. We've shown you how to do that too. So see here how those look? They're kind of a little apart, and they're a nice color block. Okay, so now maybe I will put maybe a little bit of a shifter. Maybe I'll use these hematite like a little spacer. And so maybe I'll put like one or two of those on. And then I'll move to another color shift. So maybe I'll get my hematite here, slide these hematite on, and maybe here I won't tie knots. Or I could get a seed bead and use a seed bead in between. Okay, so see how that little section looks? And then maybe I'll get another hematite. So I'll flank it together like that. So I've got the hematite on both sides. And then, since I have these lovely luscious ones out, I'm going to cut the wire off of this one. Or I could keep the wire on this and hang it right by the bead or by the loop. But I could tie knots, or I could just use that little hematite or even another little small bead to sit next to it. Or I could knot them. But look at how pretty. This strand comes with like these weird random silver beads on there that I think are plastic, so you might want to reject those. But so here we go. Let me put these down so you can see this. So then I would just string. So I'd have some big things, I'd have some small things. All of these strands, if I, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me see here. So if all of these 7, let's say they're 12 inches long, if I'm doing my math correctly, that's like 84 inches of beads here, and I'm not even counting this one. So this would make like a definite 3-strand that you could just kind of wrap, which would be really pretty. Or you can make a 3-strand kind of a torsade, you know, kind of necklace or something like that. So so it just depends, you know, on what you want. The tin cup necklace, Janice is saying, you know, that would look really good. So you just decide what you want to do. I'm going to actually probably I'm going to, well, not probably, I do want to end this broadcast a little bit early for you guys so you can jump on over and get yourself situated. If you go to that link that I showed you earlier, that screenshot that's right here, this is right on the homepage of our website. So if you're watching us live today, it is 11:16 a.m. right now here on the West Coast. These are going to be live at 11:30. All right. And if you click that link now, you're not going to see anything in the category. The page will be empty. At 11:30, you need to refresh the page. Okay. The pieces aren't going to automatically appear. You're going to need to hit refresh on the page to have all of those beads load in. Okay. So if we run out, which we will, and I'm sorry, I don't have an unlimited supply of beads for you, but I'll do this again because it's a lot of fun. We did this before, and you know, I'd love to be able to grab another one. We'll probably do it again for before the end of the year. Also, you guys, this afternoon, if you are watching, I would love for you to join me over on the contest I'm doing. It's the Beadalon Fall Challenge. If you opened your newsletter today, you will have seen that there's a link in there. What Beadalon does is they send out a big box I have right here, and I haven't opened it yet. But some of you will remember I did this, I don't know, it was earlier in the year, or maybe it was the end of last year. I don't know, time has no meaning. But I did that kind of cool wire work necklace. for the Beadalon Challenge. Well, this is the fall challenge, so I'm back defending my winning title. So we'll see what happens. But it's all going to happen at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and it'll be on the Beadalon Fall Challenge page. If you look that up on Facebook, you'll see it there. We will also put a link to it as well in our social and stuff like that. But if you can't join me live, you'll be able to watch the replay, and we're going to go ahead and we'll put those links and stuff so you can see all the wonderful designers. There's some great designers who are going to be in here. So the competition is tough. But once everybody completes their design, we've got an hour, then they'll be up for everybody to vote on. So I can't wait to see what everybody's going to make. All right. Well, my darlings, thank you so very much for joining me on this Friday, on this Free Tip Friday. I'm going to go have some lunch and some caffeine before that competition. But as always, we really appreciate your support of our small business. Janice and I were meeting, had a little Zoom meeting last night, and we want to express our gratitude, of course, to all of you all for your support, because without you guys, we wouldn't be doing here what we love. So thank you. Again, the sale starts in about 11 minutes, so you can hop right over to beadshop.com, and you can find all of the information on the project and the products from today's broadcast right over there on our website. And remember, you guys, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already. You'll get the latest discounts, giveaways, and new products. We have some great new products coming down the pike that you guys are not going to want to miss. So thanks so much, everyone, and I will see you on Wednesday for part 2 of that beautiful maze project that Janice created. We're going to work on the closure. So happy shopping, and I hope I see you a little bit later for the Beadalon Challenge, and we'll talk soon. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks so much.